Thanks for joining us on Backwoods Pursuit. Today, I'm going to show you how to set up the Black Gold Pro sight. This brand new Black Gold Pro sight is new for 2019 from Black Gold, and it offers a lot of awesome new features and new ways to make some adjustments here. So come along as we do this. I'm going to show you how to set the first, second, and third axis on this sight, as well as get your sight tape set up for the specific arrow that you're shooting. So let's go take care of that. Sure appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button for us as well. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram, Backwoods Pursuit, and also our website, backwoodspursuit.com. Let's go get started. Alright, the first step as always is to go ahead and secure the sight bracket to the bow itself, which we've already done here. That's a super easy process, same as any other bow. So what we're going to focus on here is how to get the axes set on this sight. So there's a couple different ways that you can go about getting this first axis set on these Black Gold sights, or on any sight really. You can do it when it's off the bow, but in this case I'm going to show you how to do it when the sight is already mounted on the bow. So what I've done, I just basically have a little homemade leveling kit here that goes, it makes sure that the riser here is level, so that when I go to check the level on the sight itself, then I know that the sight is also level. So this is a homemade version that's very cheap to make, just to cut off a carpenter's level. So it works just fine, and it was cheap and easy to make. So the first step here, first thing I've done is I've made sure that the bow itself is level in my vise, both vertically and horizontally. So I got my string level there, so it's level vertically, horizontally, and so now I'm going to go ahead and check the first axis. Now to get the first axis set, we're going to go ahead and use these two Allen heads right here. We're going to crack this loose to give us the ability to adjust this. So we're going to crack that loose a little bit there, and do the same on the top here. So that allows this piece right here to move back and forth like that. So once we've got that cracked loose, go ahead and stick a level on here. And of course our riser is level, so I'm going to make sure that this piece is also level. Riser's level, we want that to now be level. So as we can see right here, it's a little bit off. So we're going to move around to the back side here where there's a little screw that we can turn one way or the other and move this back and forth this way. And that's a new adjustment that Black Gold made to this Pro sight that makes this first axis adjustment a lot easier. So I'm going to flip around to the other side and take care of that. So now to make that adjustment, you stick your Allen head right into this is the only silver screw on the sight. So this is the one that's used to make the adjustment. So you turn this, and that makes the adjustment. You might be able to see the bubble moving in the direction we want. So continue to move that, and that gives you a lot easier adjustment than the previous model, the Ascent that I've adjusted, or the Ascent Verdict that I adjusted in the past. It used to be you just had to take your hand and kind of move this back and forth, try to get it and hold it in place, and then tighten down those bigger Allen heads. And so with this new adjustment, all you do is stick that right in there once you've cracked those loose, get it set to where that bubble is level, and then tighten those down. So I'm going to finish getting this perfectly. It's really close right now. Take a little bit more in there. Oh, go the other way. Adjust that right there. That looks perfect. I'm going to tighten that down now, and we'll be ready to go on to the second axis. So finishing this up, I'm going to go ahead and snug down the bottom just a little bit to where it's not terribly snug, but just snug enough to where you can kind of go then to the top. Snug that down just a little, and then go back and forth from one to the other. That way that is not going to move on you when you snug that down. So go ahead and do that. Snug this down, and we're all set. We'll double check it now, make sure that didn't move when we tightened it down, and we're all set. It didn't. It looks perfect. So now we're going to move on and get the second axis set. Alright, so to get the second axis set, the second axis here is this bubble right here. That's going to tell you when you're at full draw to level your bow one way or the other. Now obviously that needs to be level with the riser and the first axis, which we've already set. So we're going to go ahead and crack this loose, This is this bottom one and the top one right here. And you don't need to turn it that much, but just enough to give you the ability to rotate this ring right here, and that's what gives you your adjustment. So you can kind of push that. Obviously you can see that bubble move that way, or if you want to move it the other way, you can just kind of push that ring a little bit that way. A little bit of adjustment goes a long way on this, so I'm going to push that back just a little, and I think we're pretty close right there. Okay, so I verified that that's level, and I'm going to go ahead and snug that down just to make sure that that doesn't move. And again, kind of alternating, a little bit of a turn, quarter turn each side. Because if you don't, if you tighten one side down, you'll think it's level, and then you go to tighten the other, and it'll make it turn out once you're all the way snug to where it's not level. So just do a little bit at a time each side. Snug that down to where it's not going to go anywhere. You don't have to really crank on it. You don't want to, actually. It's just plastic, so you don't want to go too hard on that. All right, so it's all level now. We're perfectly set on our second axis. So now we're going to move to the third axis. Alright, so to set up the third axis, you have to first put the bow in a 45-degree angle and put it in your vise, or if you're not doing it on your bow, make sure that you're able to tilt your sight to that 45-degree angle. So it should look something like this. And again, we're going to make sure that the riser is level, just like we were before. So make sure you've tilted it to that 45-degree angle. The riser is level. So your first and second axis now should be lined up if you've done it right. And we're going to go ahead and take her to the third axis now. Okay, so the last step here is to go ahead and set the third axis, which there's two locking screws. One of them is right here, so we're going to crack that loose. And then a second one, which is a different size, is right up here on the top. So we're going to go ahead and crack that one loose as well before we make our adjustment with the third axis adjustment here on the back side of this. To make the adjustment on the third axis, use this big screw right here, and once those other two are cracked loose, you just basically twist that one way or the other to go ahead and make that bubble come into alignment. So just wanted to show you that this bigger one here is the one that you're going to use to make the adjustment. So I'll flip back the other side and we'll make the adjustment now to show you how that comes back into level. So we've got this all loosened up here. I'm going to tilt that down for you so you can see the adjustment as it comes into alignment on that bubble. So as I make this turn, we don't turn it much. You should never have to turn it more than a quarter of a turn or something, either way, and you'll see that bubble come level. Alright, so that is a level. Now we're going to double check to make sure the riser itself has not gone out of level, and it is lined up as well. So we got the riser's level, the third axis is now set, so we're going to tighten those down and we will be good to go. Alright, so to straighten it back up, we've got the bubbles level there. We got the first axis right here. That one's perfect. That one's perfect as well. Let's see there. So we've got all the axes set level. And we just did the third axis, we know that's perfect. So we're all set to go now do the sight tape. So that is how you set the first, second, and third axis on a black gold sight. Next video here I'm going to show you down at the range how to set the sight tape on this particular sight, and it's going to apply again for most of the black gold sights. But I'm going to show you how to go through that step by step. It's a process you definitely want to do before you head out into the field to make sure that that sight tape is perfect for your specific bow setup. Thanks for following us here today. Hit that subscribe button for us, and we will see you next time.